Welcome to the Sacred Flourishing Feminine, a podcast devoted to the awakening, healing, and thriving of women everywhere. I'm your host, Corinna, women's coach, photographer, retreat guide, and birth keeper. But even more than that, I'm a mother. I'm a truth seeker and a woman deeply devoted to living a life that feels real, sacred, and fully alive, and to supporting other women to do the same. This space is born out of a longing and a remembering of the way women have always passed down wisdom through stories, through songs, through presence, through witnessing each other. Once upon a time, women would gather around fires while cooking, grinding corn, breastfeeding, weaving, collecting water, and doing laundry by the river. And while their hands were busy, their hearts were open. They would share stories of birth and death, of heartbreak and ecstasy, of plant medicine and midwifery, of menstruation and miscarriage, of devotion and doubt. They sang lullabies and sacred chants. They passed down recipes and spiritual teachings, body wisdom and prayers. This is how women have remembered who they are for thousands of years. Before textbooks, before institutions, before Google and certifications, women learned through living, through listening, through being in community. This is how we learned the rhythms of the earth and the rhythms of our cycles. It's how we understood birth, blood, and sex, and our soul. It's how we passed down knowledge that was too nuanced, too deep, too sacred to put into bullet points or manuals. This is how I've learned from the wise women that came before me, women who shared their stories with open hearts. This is how I've gathered the tools I now carry, from my birth work to my spiritual practices to my mindset work, my herbal medicine knowledge, my recipes, my rituals, the way that I mother, love, and live. This podcast is my way of continuing that lineage, of honoring that tradition, of keeping the circle going. I created the Sacred Flourishing Feminine for the woman who knows she's meant for more. More depth, more truth, more connection, more joy, more beauty, more purpose, more soul. This podcast is for the woman who's ready to stop surviving and to start truly thriving. Here we talk about the things that matter and the things we are often told not to talk about. We talk about birth, blood, sex, money, death, motherhood, healing, and spirituality. Because these are not taboos, they are sacred doorways. They are the portals to our full expansion, and they are what connect us deeply as women. In this space, you'll hear solo episodes from me, vulnerable stories of my own life, and conversations with women who are walking a similar path of wholeness and reclamation. Women with wisdom in their bones, women who are carrying keys you might not even know you were searching for. Together, we'll remember who we are. Together, we'll rise. A little about me. I live here in the heart of Peru, nestled between the Andes Mountains and the Amazon rainforest, on a multi-generational homestead with my husband and daughter and other family members. This is where most of my recordings will happen, so you'll often hear background humming of the jungle, the rhythms of my life around me, my daughter nursing or singing, or simply being. You might hear chickens and rain, wind, or work happening in the distance. Because this podcast isn't recorded in a soundproof studio, and I wouldn't want to do that, it's real life. It's alive, it's raw and sacred and true. The internet in the jungle also isn't reliable, so you might hear delays or moments where I speak over my guests or we speak over each other. I invite you to welcome it all, the imperfections, the humanity, as it's all part of the beauty. My work in this world is deeply interwoven with this podcast. It's all one living expression of the same prayer, that women truly thrive. Through my one-on-one coaching containers, where we dive deep into healing, embodiment, relationship, voice, purpose, and power. Through my group programs with my dear sister and co-creator, my business partner, Natalie, like the Intentional Maidenhood program or our upcoming birth program for women and birth workers, through our nourished and thriving retreat here in Peru and beyond, where we gather on the land, reconnect with our bodies and our cycles, and root deeply into what's true. Through my photography work, where I reflect women's essence, sensuality, and truth back to them through my lens, and where I connect couples deeper through deeply intentional, deeply present, wildly adventurous elopement experiences in Peru, Latin America, Canada, Europe, and all over the world. And through the real, raw beauty I share on Instagram, the behind-the-scenes glimpses into the sacred life I'm building in the jungle with my family. And as I travel the world for retreats, to visit my friends and family, and to take my family on fun adventures, and because I do world schooling for my daughter, teaching her new cultures, new languages, and new experiences that can only be lived in lived experiences. The way I parent, the way I love, the way I grieve, heal, create, serve, it's all part of my larger devotion to the feminine, to the earth, to community, and to soul. I want to live in a world where girls are excited for their first bleed, where boys are raised to honor their emotions, to channel their sacred sexual energy with reverence, where mothers are supported, where birth is trusted, where women walk tall, speak clear, where beauty in nature and purpose is embodied. I want a world where every woman remembers she is divine, where we don't pour from empty cups, but from the overflowing of a well-tended, rooted life, where we know how to care for each other, our families, and our communities in a way that is deeply sustainable and soul honoring, where stories like the ones you'll hear here are treasured as sacred medicine. So if you're ready to remember your power, to connect to your body, to reclaim your voice, to root into your truth and rise into the woman you're always meant to be, you are in the right place. If you know women who carry medicine in their voice and should be a guest, or if you feel called to share your story, please reach out. And if something you hear here opens something in you, resonates deeply, or lights a fire in your heart, I'd love to hear it. Send me a message on Instagram, leave a review, and please share this podcast with any woman who needs to hear it. Welcome to the Sacred Flourishing Feminine. I'm so grateful you're here. Let's walk this path together. With love, Laura Corinna.